What's up, guys? NepentheZ here, and welcome back to another MFL video where the start of Season 5 is upon us. It is day one for training, day one for games, day one for everyone. And we're going to take you through not only what's happened for me and my accounts recently, but also how you can still join in if you want to with a bit of late registration, and also taking a look at the league strength of all of the leagues that I'm in and trying to understand kind of like where I expect to go with each team. So first of all, guys, if you're enjoying the content, feel free to drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Second of all, you have still got today and tomorrow available for the Disney link, the Disney pins, to get yourself $25 worth of credit in your Dapper wallet. So make sure to use that Disney link down below. Today and tomorrow are the final days for it. Actually, today's the final day for it. There's no tomorrow. Today is the last day for those Disney dollars. So if you want that, go sign up with Disney, then come and sign up here with this code right here. Get yourself a free player after meeting the minimum spend needs, and then get yourself in via the late registration. So as far as late reg goes, guys, the rules are quite simple. You just get your team together, go onto the help desk down here, and then just ask to be put in. You will get a 1 point deduction for late registration, and you'll get another 1 point deduction for each match missed. So, you know, not ideal, but if you just want to be involved for this season, this is the way to do it. And late registration closes. Where does it say it closes? I think it closes at the end of the week, actually, but you can still get involved, which is really, really good. Now, training. One of the best aspects of this game is training. And delightfully for me this morning, not so delightfully, I didn't get too much progression, but delightfully, I already got my first tier breaker, which is absolutely fantastic. Rodriguez is now a limited up to 55 rated. His passing went up 1, which is absolutely fantastic. This is his third the start of his third season anyway, right now. And he's part of the MFL experiment team, which is real nice. We also got Carranza went up 1 and gained 1 dribbling, which for a Cam, which is where he likes to, where I like to play him, is very good. His best striker is probably striker. Sorry, his best position is probably striker, though. And we also got Arms. He's from one of the farm teams, Arms. So, hopefully we get a big boost on him throughout this season. Otherwise, I did get a little bit of extra boost there. Beckman, who I purchased this transfer window. I did it via Dapper, mind you. Gained 1 defending, which isn't ideal, but, it is there. I got a little +1 somewhere way down here on Kuhn, the right wing / right mid. It's just another farm team, though, so a little +1 there in his shooting, which is quite nice. We also picked up a +1 pace on Perez, which is quite nice. And we picked up 1 physical on Horton, which is actually really nice for him. Because if we can get his sort of dribbling, passing, and physical growing nicely to match up with that sort of pace boost there, or pace that he's got, he'd be a really good left wing, actually. And then I think I got another 1 more +1. No, that was it. So not a lot by the way of training for me. In terms of the where people are, let's get the projections. We will start with the Diamond League. Obviously, just League 1. And of course, the Diamond Heist is a rock bottom. I haven't quite finished the team yet. We've got a few more players to come in today. Don't be alarmed, guys, if you're looking at this, by the way, this projection, and you're like, whoa, my team's way higher rated than my projection. There was a snapshot taken. If you've added players afterwards, it doesn't automatically update. There'll be another snapshot taken after the transfer window closes. So then you'll get a truer understanding of where you are. But I think for me right now, I want to share with you and show with you everything we are expected to do. So we've got Prestige 26 first. And to my like dismay, I'm not the best team by far, and I'm in a very, 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 very tough league. I improved my squad massively. I think I was like 780 something last season, and that was me projected 5th. If I maintained that, I'd be in a relegation battle. As it is, for the best 16 average, which I think is a little bit more of a better way to look at it than the best 11, because the best 11 just takes your top 11. You could have 3 goalkeepers in that best 11, and that wouldn't make any sense. But the best 16 average, you've got Bora Azteca, myself, and Guayaquil, who seem to be a little bit ahead of everybody else, but that doesn't mean anything, really. Doesn't mean anything at all. Doesn't mean we're guaranteed to be winning or up there or whatever. And so, yeah, it's going to be a tough season. And what's really interesting about this season as well for Prestige 26 is there's no bad teams here. You know, last season we had like 2 teams or maybe even 3 teams that were like 3 hits. This season, that is not the case. Every game is going to be competitive. You know, you'd expect me to be able to beat sort of like bottom half table like teams, no problem. But the reality is, it's just not going to be that easy. So a really difficult Stone League. I did look at a few like Stone Leagues around me as well. I'm in 34, so I went and had a look at like 35, and I thought this is actually quite a competitive league as well. Jesus. And then 33. Yeah, there's a few lesser teams in there. Actually, it's a bit more Stone in general, I guess, is a bit more competitive than I thought it was going to be. Wow, that's quite a tough league as well. And I did start looking at like the top leagues, and I think that, yeah, look at that. That is real. Stone League 5 is crazy competitive. And I think, like, I understand the way that MFL work it, that they want you to kind of stay on the same kind of path. So if you go up, you're facing off against the same people. If you come down, you're facing off against the same people. But I do think, especially with the influx of managers that we've had over the last couple of seasons, there really needs to just be a rebalancing, because this is harsh. This is really harsh. You know, these people would, if they bought a Stone license in a different league, transferred their team to that league, they'd get promoted. So yeah, little bit potentially of work to do there. We've then got First Owner FC. So this is a club that I would like to hope. Where are we? 3,000, Club 3,000. I'd like to hope that we can do a little something here. We are ranked 4th. Crying Chickens are just way too good for the league. They would compete in Stone. Fair enough. That's how they're going to play their season. I don't blame them. I like the idea as well of just, you know, taking the same team up quite a way. And, you know, when we looked at the kind of club distribution before, like an 824 best 11, you could probably get away with staying in bronze. Maybe not quite. Maybe not quite, but you're not far off. Then maybe, you know, you're not far off being able to stay in bronze. So in iron with like an 824, you would be in and around the sort of mid-table. Maybe you're a little bit shy there as well. Actually, depends what league you get put into. But the reality of the situation is the like Crying Chickens is like they could easily get promoted from ice, then promote from stone, and then sustain in iron, which would be pretty nice. And then it's pretty close after that. You know, we've got this team here a little bit better. Jose Academy, a little bit better than myself. And there's quite a discrepancy for the lower teams here. And I think it's going to take a fair few seasons for it to kind of shake out and kind of balance with the way Spark's going. And some of the Spark leagues, I mean, are hilarious. Some of my awful, awful farm teams are going to finish like mid-table or higher. It's crazy. But yeah, so got kind of my eye on promotion here, but I know it's going to be a tough one. You know, I'm not too far away from 3rd and 2nd in terms of best 16 average. And yeah, hopefully we can do well with First Owner FC. Then we've got our first of 2 ice farm teams. This is that right? Oh no, sorry, wrong club. Wrong club link for me. There we go. So Evo FC Neuchâtel. I am the worst by far. Something was mentioned to me, which I'm a little bit excited for, and hopefully that I get the kind of benefits of. Not every ice team will get relegated because there won't be enough teams from Spark to come up promotion. So got to hope that I hit that lottery ticket and don't actually get relegated. This team is just a farm. I expect it to get relegated. If I don't end up getting relegated, happy days. But it is about that progression more than anything else here. And then we've also got ourselves Road to Glory. So Road to Glory, guys, we've actually had a lot change here. And I think when I show you Road to Glory, we're at the bottom with an average of 352. Now, the top team is Extreme Academy with 788. Then we've got 754 and 734. If we actually look at Road to Glory, I went and the whole point of this club was to try and get a team good enough to promote that that like from the market, not part buying, but using rev share, and be able to keep some rev share for myself. So I have done that. Got a goalkeeper in yet. There we go. Let's put. I bought 2 goalkeepers for it. I have done that. So I'm at 735 for the actual setup. So I'm one of the top 3 teams, give or take. And other than the 2 players that I brought everybody in from Trust the Process. He loaned in the entire team, all on 5%. So I kind of have done what I anticipated I would do outside of the goalkeepers. And I get to keep 30% of the revenue, but it's not quite what I wanted to do. And it's because it was considerably more difficult to loan in players than I ever thought it would be. And I am just going to go off on a tangent right now and explain why, and give you guys a little bit of maybe a bit of advice on when you're trying to loan out players. If I still need to get some players for the Spark to Glory team, right? If I go to Spark here, let's say I need a centre back, and the accepted rev share is 5%. There is a big problem with what people are doing with this stuff here, the minimum appearances. I don't mind guaranteeing minimum appearances, but when you're asking for, let's say, there's not a lot here actually in terms of quality, but here 5% for the contract and then 4% for the minimum appearances. I get it. You like if your player doesn't play those games, you want the extra money. The problem is if I brought in 3 or 4 players, because the minimum appearance counts towards the rev share until you hit it, if you bring in 3 or 4 or 5 players, you've already like eaten up 50%, give or take, of your rev share. So especially in the Spark division, guys, where honestly progression is more important than anything else. You know, the MFL that you're going to get at 5% MFL, right? At 5% MFL, let's say, you know, they hit the minimum appearances at that 5% MFL. Where's the, oh, I can't see the rewards distribution now. Let me just go into a Spark League real quick. League 1 here. At 5% MFL, your best case scenario, best case is 1,200, sorry, is 120 MFL plus some cup MFL potentially. Your best case is 150 MFL from that 5%, right? You, especially with a player like this, for example, who is 18 years old, right, and has actually good defensive stats, decent pace, and okay physical. This guy has just been born. You absolutely want game time on him more than anything else, because if this transfer window closes and this Oliver Werner does not have a club and you've missed out on training and match XP, that is far more valuable than the 150 MFL max that you can earn if you've got this player in a team that is going to win their league. Likelihood is for a 56 rated, they're going to be mid-table-ish, so you're probably looking at about like 60 or 70 MFL for a player. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. You are better off, in my personal opinion, setting your expected revenue at either 0 or 1% for what, you know, in terms, just so you got something coming in, maybe 2% if it's like a real elite player. And then your minimum appearances to 15 for like 3 or 4%. That way you are guaranteeing that game time. You're guaranteeing that match XP. You are guaranteeing that training as well, which is super valuable. If we look at like some of the best players available here, obviously people aren't going to accept these, but yeah, there's actually not quite as many on there now like as before. But even like this one here, right? You want to loan a 56 rated goalkeeper for 4% and then 10%. The 10% isn't a problem because anybody that loans the player will be like, yeah, do you know what? I can guarantee you the 20 games. That's no issue. I will give you the 20 games. But you are eating 10% extra of their ability to like loan in players. And so what's ending up happening is we now have, as you can see here for all of these limiteds, we now have an absolute monstrous amount of players on the loan market that will not get game time because people are being too greedy. But more importantly, with the minimum appearances, they are not understanding how the contract situation works. So make sure if you want to loan your players out, and I'm going to be looking today for loans before this before the first game this evening for what have we got? Spark to Glory here. I don't have a team, a full team yet. I'm close to it. I've got a lot of players. I'm still missing a centre midfielder, and then I'm missing, some backup. For this team so far, I've actually done all right. I've got 38% rev share, but I've still got some of my own players in here. I want to get rid of my own players. I want to bring new players in, but I can't do it with these like ludicrous requirements for mediocre players. So guys, do yourselves a favor. Do yourselves a favor. Either put good rev share and then no minimum requirement for matches in the clauses, or put really, really low rev share at 0, 1, or 2%, and then just attack a 2 or 3% on for the minimum appearances, because I guarantee you, and I promise you, getting your players playing and in a team training is going to be far more valuable than getting 8% of, getting 160 MFL instead of 140 MFL. I guarantee you it'd be more valuable. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So Evo FC Road to Glory should hopefully get promoted this season and be in Stone next season, which will be quite a fun little setup. And then I've got my Tunis, that 2975, my Tunis farm team, which are the worst team here as well by far. I'm just going to get dumped on every single game. That was the plan. That was the expectation. You might ask yourself, why have I got 2 farm teams in ice that are going to get relegated? Rather than kind of like building out teams that will keep them in ice. I think that they've got teams that are good enough to compete in Spark, and I would much rather be in a competitive setting where they're getting good match ratings and still picking up a similar level of MFL. So if we look, obviously this season we get a free pass, right? This season in the division, we are going to finish bottom, but we're going to get 2,000 MFL for both of the farm teams plus cup MFL. Now, if you didn't know, the cup that you get put into is based on your team's overall, not the division that you're in. So if you've got, like for me, this team here, this really bad team, I'm going to get put in a group with other similarly ranked teams, which means there's going to be MFL on offer for me because I'm going to be able to actually win some cup games, which would be quite nice. So I'm going to focus the cup. I'm going to rotate and make sure my best team is available for the cup. But 2,050 MFL for finishing bottom here, compared to a mid-ish table finish in Spark, which will be 1,400, 1,300. So next season I will lose out on about 700 MFL for the team, but they'll be in a much better competitive setting, and a setting where they're going to get a lot more wins and get a better match rating, which means better XP, which means better growth. And of course, for these players, these 40-odd level players, 40s and 50s, growth is paramount. I also do think that I will get promoted with a couple of my Spark teams as well. So I will still have teams moving up into the ice division. But this season, because I've got so many clubs of that I've got to manage and kind of mentally manage rather than like physically put the players in for, I kind of just need this season to let it kind of like let the chips fall where they may and then stack them up afterwards. I really need to just kind of like see where it's all going and then get an understanding mentally for what's what. So that is a Tunis Ice Farm. Then we've got our first Spark team, and this, of course, is Club 135. And Club 135 is the best team in the division. We've got the best 16 average by far, and I would expect promotion here. Obviously, I get nothing from Club 135. I will show you the club right now. Here we are with Club 135, guys. The squad, 100% rev share has gone out. 20 players only. That's always the case. That's always the way it's going to be. Everybody's got 5% rev share. It's a really, really strong squad in terms of training and the lack of training penalties for these players. There's not going to be many training penalties whatsoever. So obviously the hope is we get promoted this season. So if you've got a player that you're thinking about for next season that you would love rev share for in ice, that would help get promoted from ice, then maybe keep a mind on that, keep a tab on that. But yeah, Club 135 is one that I'm excited to follow this season, actually, because it's kind of like the community club. The only thing I get from it is the satisfaction of actually getting promoted and winning. And so I want to make sure I'm doing that. I don't want to be losing out on that situation. We've then got the Golden Oldies, which is the 5627 club. Now, the Golden Oldies are ranked 10th in terms of best 11. Just to give you guys a little understanding as well of best 11. As I say, this is your literal best 11. Like, it doesn't really mean too much. Also, like, your best 16 average, I think this is a far more, like, appropriate thing to look at, because your best 16 average probably includes your rotation players and both goalkeepers. So actually, when we look at best 16 average, I can see us finishing 9th here and not getting relegated, which is massively surprising, because Golden Oldies, I obviously wanted to get players that were 30 or older. That's the idea with these, right? I just threw in a good team, or a team, not a good team. I just threw in players that I had left after I'd done every other team to fill this team instead of just leaving it for the season. So the fact that we've actually got potential there of finishing, you know, in and around 9th, 8th, maybe 7th, if we have some real good luck and rotate well, I'm really happy with this one. I'm really happy. So Golden Oldies has got a little bit of potential. We've then got Pack to Glory. Pack to Glory are 4-4-7-1. So Pack to Glory are also down here in 10th, but again, reasonably competitive with 9th place. Should absolutely smash 11th place. And unless we get some serious progression this season, won't have any opportunity of moving up the division. So Pack to Glory, obviously the whole point of Pack to Glory is the MFL that it earns, we use to get players to improve the team. But like, basically, like, let's say this team earns 1,250 MFL. I'll pop that in a spreadsheet. We'll open 2 600 MFL packs that will literally be like, right, these next 2 packs are for Pack to Glory. This is the MFL. And then those 2 players will go into this team. Whether they're better or worse, they will go into the team until the team is like fully complete. And then the packs players will get loaned out until we need them back again after like retirements and such. But yeah, so Pack to Glory, going to be another, you know, we're not going to get many wins. And that's the case with a lot of these. And that's why when I got asked the question a lot, actually, from people in the community, how am I going to manage these teams? A lot of them, there's no managing, right? So for Pack to Glory, for example, all I will do, especially, I will look at the kind of match schedule and look at, okay, when am I playing GC Youth and when am I playing Bowding Red Falcons? So I've got GC Youth on game day 3, and then the Red Falcons on game day 5. So when it comes to tactics, I will just make sure that for this one here, my best team is set up, and for this one here, my best team is set up. Then I can plug and play these players straight away. So I can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can basically build 6 days worth of games and just set the lineups, save them. I don't even have to look at the club again after that for 6 days. And then in 6 days' time, come and do it again. Maybe I have to like invest a little bit more time for the cups. But a lot of these clubs are just like farms. Do you know what I mean? So there's no there's kind of no managing involved. It is literally just making sure that the fitness of the players is there. So that is Pack to Glory. We've then got Spark to Glory. Now, as I said, this is one where I need a lot of work still to do. I still need to improve. I'm here with Josh as well. Josh is in here with his farm team. Now, my team on Spark to Glory's best 11 currently is 648. So I've actually got a really good team here. Obviously, I've loaned in a lot of these players. And actually, my best 16 average is dragged down massively by the players that I put in there just to be able to register the team. Once I improve this squad and get in 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 more loans today, I'm hopeful that I can get Spark to Glory promoted, and that will be delightful, because obviously Spark to Glory and Road to Glory are teams that I really want to get promoted every season up until probably around Iron, which is where it will probably get a bit tricky to not only get players in with rev share, but also it's just so competitive once you get to around the Iron League that I think that's where we'll probably hit the stumbling block. Maybe Stone as well. Stone's quite difficult. But yeah, Spark to Glory is in a healthy spot. We've then got Team Sweat, 5781. Now, this is just a farm team, I believe, at the moment. Oh, no, I'm second. Oh, no. Team Sweat is the team that I've put best in class in. Yeah, this is a team that I want to get promoted. So for Team Sweat, and this, again, is why I decided to get the other 2 relegated, because I knew a couple were going to get promoted back up. So this squad is full of quality players. I've got a little bit of a mismatch when it comes to the training. You know, these 64s aren't going to be too great in terms of training. They're going to be missing out a little bit. But we've got 3 close to a tier breaker. If they end up turning into uncommons this season, that will be delightful. and hopefully we can have a really good season here. And by the looks of things, this league I'm very strong in. Brandana MFC and myself, we are very strong. And then this league is really weak. And it's really interesting how some Spark leagues have got like this kind of setup. And then some Spark leagues have got like 3 or even 4, like 800 best 11 teams in it. It's like, oh my days, what are you guys doing in there? But hey, listen, it's for fun, right? It's fun. If you're having fun, good. So Team Sweat, we expect to get promoted. We've then got the agency. So this is 3992. The agency are unbelievably up in 5th. And this is where the Spark League for me was really, really fun and really, really interesting. And this is why I want more teams down here for this like mid 50 range player, because my best 16 is really competitive to potentially finish 3rd and go for promotion, right? And this is one where I did not expect anything. You know, the whole point of the agency is to, I think this one was for about self-contained ownership, right? Start with loans or agency players, move to first owner and see how long it takes to transition. This one is just about getting the MFL to replace the team. That's it. That's all we do here, right? And obviously we want to get the MFL as quick as possible. But the fact that we're projected into that sort of like mid-table and should hopefully, you know, tactically do well, this is a team that I want to manage, right? And get tactics down for and things like that. If we can do well in this one and pick up, you know, 1,200, 1,500 MFL plus some cup runs, we might be able to get 3 players for the agency next season. And that will be amazing, because if we end up opening a pack and it's like a 60 rated player, I suppose it can't be if it's common, can it? It'll be maximum 54. But if we can keep putting these players in and then growing them through training and whatnot, really, you know, it could be a really, really fun, really fun season there. Then we've got the cost experiment, guys. So the cost experiment is team 3981. And this one's down at the bottom, of course. This one is there because I bought all of these guys. Yeah, I bought all of these guys in the team for $2. I think they were all $2. And the idea is to see how quickly I can replace them and get my money back effectively. So, you know, this season we're going to finish 11th. What division are we in for the cost experiment? We are, yeah, so we've got 11 teams. Maybe a 12th team gets added, hopefully not. But if we finish 11th there, 1,000 MFL, potentially we can finish higher. I don't think we will. Oh, wow, Spark's got relegation places. Wow, imagine getting relegated from Spark. Yeah, I might finish 10th. It depends how many of these managers stay active. Oh, I'm in there with Laird. That's interesting. Laird's going to absolutely smash me. Wait, I think I actually have him first game, don't I? No, maybe not. But yeah, either way. No, I'm up against Money More MFC. Either way, this team, if we can get enough to get 2 packs back, I can then put those 2 players in, sell the two $2 players that I bought, get the $4 back. And the idea there is just about getting MFL, and again about progression, right? Like, because if, for example, of the cost experiment was at the team, if, for example, some of these players pop off, you know, we don't have many good players. In fact, they're all terrible. But what I made sure to do was to get young players. So everybody, generally speaking, is quite young. 25 is the oldest, and we've got some 21 and 22-year-olds. If this guy, for example, at 41 rated, maybe let's take like this guy at 47 rated. If this guy at 47 rated has a really good season and pushes up towards 54 or 55 rated from progression, I'm not saying he can or he will, but maybe. You know, we bought him for $2. This is his first season in the game. If he goes up and becomes like a limited, I'll be able to sell him maybe for $4 or $5. So we could easily like make profit whilst doing this, which would be really, really nice. So the cost experiment is projected rock bottom. We've then got the MFL experiment, which is basically the exact same thing, just a little different. And I will go through and maybe one day revisit what each club is for explicitly. I will put it into each club's kind of bio over the next couple of days, because I also need to change the badges for a lot of them, because the badges are just the generic ones I had from last season I need to change. But the MFL experiment, I'm really excited about this team because this again was just a team just full of just players that I had, right? The whole point of the MFL experiment was to start with agency players. Everyone that the MFL that this team earns, we'll open packs for, we'll then loan those players out and repeat that process. And when somebody retires, we'll use one of the players that we get to replace them. Right, that's the aim. Like, they're just going to be in Spark Hell forever, right? I don't anticipate that they'll ever get promoted. But once again, what I really like about this team is when you look at the league, first of all, we are way better than those bottom 3 teams, which is great. But also in terms of the best 16, and I think the best 16, as I say, guys, is more important than the best 11. It's all well and good having a really good 11, but if you've got terrible backups, you're going to struggle when your best 11 isn't fit and you've got to put in like a 50 rated player or 30, a 40 rated player to like last a game or two whilst you get fitness back, or when the cups come in and whatnot, you're going to struggle. And so when I look at my best 16 average here, we're just about as good as 7th. We're better than 6th. We're not far off of 5th. It could be a fun season for Evo FC, the MFL experiment. We could get some good MFL back from this this campaign, which would be absolutely fantastic. And then we've got the last team, guys, which is under 21s. And of course, just like the Golden Oldies, the perspective here was to try and get under 21s around the same sort of level, play them. I've got a Pranksy Plays team in here. That's quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, play them, get the growth off of them, and just keep the under 21 team always under 21s. There's no like vibe around it other than just keeping under 21s together just for the fun. And I don't have enough under 21s to do that. So what I did instead was just again put leftovers in here, and those leftovers have got us to a point where again we are competitive enough to finish in that mid-table section. So lots to play for with lots of teams. A couple of teams I'm expected to promote with. A couple of teams I know that I'm going to get relegated with or just finish bottom of Spark with. But then I've got like 4 or 5 teams that are in and around that sort of like mid-table, like upper mid-table or lower mid-table section, where it's like, okay, this could be a fun season for these clubs. So I'm really, really looking forward to managing those and seeing how that goes. The only thing I've got left to do, like I say, guys, is Spark to Glory. I need to get some more players because obviously I don't really want my own players in here, right? And so when we look at the squads and we look at the agent, 2, 4, 6 of these players are mine. The rest of them, most of them are Callum's. But yeah, 6 of these players are mine that I would like to get rid of. But if push comes to shove, and at 7:45 p.m. tonight, when this game kicks off, or by 7:35 or so, because obviously the team locks at about 7:41, it locks about 4 minutes before the game kicks off. I'm going to want to make sure I've got a full team here. So if I just end up putting my own players in for now, whilst I try and sort some loans in before the end of the transfer window, I will do that. But yeah, the idea is to make sure that I don't have my own players in here. I get rid of those and I just use players with rev share. But we will genuinely just have to see how that goes over time. If this team has to start properly next season, then so be it. But in terms of the schedule, guys, there's a few other things I'm really, really, really excited about today and now that the season is here. And the first thing is looking at the games. So when we look at my clubs, my first game is going to be 6:59. Now, your game times will be the same time every day. So if you're in Spark League 132 with me, your game time will be 6:59. I'm in Spark League 114. Game time is 7:07. Spark League's 103 is 7:11. So basically, from about 7 p.m. tonight, I've got games quite regularly, two at the same time there, because I'm in League 103, 105, 7:29, 7:45, 7:47, 7:49, 8:03 for the Ice League. Now, the Ice League's been moved up, actually. Last year, my Ice games were around that 7:10 period. So the Ice games have been pushed back a little bit. It's a little bit later. 8:13, 8:15, 8:19, and then we've got the Stone League at 8:51 and the Diamond League at 10 p.m. Now, of course, for the Diamond League, we are just going to lose every game. The only thing that's going to be interesting about the Diamond League is when we get put into a cup, that's where we can be competitive and actually earn some more extra MFL. But the other thing that I'm really interested in, guys, is when we look at my players that are not contracted to me, I'm really excited to look forwards to, for example, this game here at 9:40, because Doge Sports, he actually messaged me yesterday he bought a couple of wingers to really facilitate Cornelius. He's going to be doing me an absolute solid when it comes to Cornelius, and got a deep team and a strong team there. But in terms of the overall, like, Cornelius doesn't have much training. He doesn't get 100% training, but he doesn't have much like regression in training there. But he's going to be the main striker, obviously with that 98 shooting, good pace and dribbling. He's been progressing so well. If he can carry on that narrative and actually this season become a legendary, I will be so happy with that. But yeah, Dosport brought in, I think, this guy here. Great pace, great dribbler. How is that an 83 rated card? That's insane, to be fair. And then he also brought in a left winger as well. Maybe this guy here. Great passing on him. But yeah, he's basically setting up in a 4-3-3 to really facilitate Cornelius. So really, really excited about that, because if I get, he's in silver right now, which is quite crazy. If I get promoted with Prestige 26 this season into Iron, I would be tempted to keep Cornelius for myself if he doesn't progress more this season. I am in the Wendirk Cup as well, guys, as you can see here. There will be a couple of games today, I believe. But if I can get to the round of 16, I will get 250 MFL. I qualified out of the cup really comfortably, 3 wins out of 3, no problem at all. But the round of 16 isn't until here, and that's at 5:30. Wait, how can the round of 32 be at 5:30 and the round of 16 be at 5:30? What's really tricky about all of this is all of these games play. 7:15 is the final. I think, oh, this is 5:50. Did I misread that? Oh, yeah. So I don't know when the draw is going to be made, but if I can get through the next 2 rounds and head into round of 16 here, pick up 250 MFL, that'd be really nice. Obviously, the further I can get, the better, but I don't have like the strongest team in the competition. There's some really, really strong teams out there. But yeah, that's where we're at. So again, guys, season 5 is here. You can still join. You can still get involved. We're going to do probably like daily roundups of progression and how the teams have performed and stuff, but I'm not going to go too into it. Like, what I don't want to do is be like, oh, hey guys, here's the gameplay of my team getting smashed 7-0. You know, that's going to be boring. So I'll probably pick out some games for us to look at and some leagues for us to look at as we go every day. But that is going to be the end for today. Of course, if you enjoyed the content, feel free to drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, guys, I'm out. Peace.